a people pleaser, or more like a retired people pleaser, one of the things I struggled with the most was setting boundaries.
Hey guys, my name is Debbie and welcome to Debbie's Eye. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about boundaries, why they're important, and some personal boundaries that I've had to set in my life.
Today's video is going to be a bit different from what we normally do. I know I've been off here for a very long while, and today I'm actually preparing to go out. I'll be leaving the house in like an hour, so I don't really have much time to be doing this, but let's just see how it goes. So I'm going to be doing my makeup while we talk. It was either film like this or not film at all. So I was like, okay, let me just try and film something while I'm getting ready. So we can also say this video is like a makeup tutorial or a get ready with me, that kind of thing. And I have a mirror right behind the camera, so if I'm looking up, I'm still talking to you. Okay, being a people pleaser, or more like a retired people pleaser, one of the things I struggled with the most was setting boundaries. In fact, I didn't really have much of a problem setting boundaries. I had an issue sticking to boundaries that I had already set. So it wasn't until I got into an argument with a friend of mine, and she was like, Debbie, you don't have boundaries. And you guys, when I tell you I was so pissed, like even weeks after the argument, after we made up, she apologized. I apologized for things that I had said. We got back to being besties. I would randomly think of that one statement she said to me, and I'll start getting angry all over again. So I think God made me ask myself, or should I say the Holy Spirit asked me, was like, okay, this one you're so upset about this particular thing, could there be some truth in what she said? And you guys, when I tell you that for like 10 seconds, I couldn't say anything. I literally paused in my tracks. I was like, what? And after some time, I just got myself back. I was like, you know what, Debbie, no boundaries. Like me, even though I know people in my life, they will generally describe me as someone who is calm. I'm not someone you would say is a pushover, or like, you can disrespect or talk to anyhow or just do anyhow. But hearing that statement, like hearing my friend tell me I don't have boundaries, it definitely made me want to take a step back and really think about my life. So when God asked me that question, like, about why I was so bothered by that particular statement, like I told you guys, after 10 seconds, I got myself back and I was like, that's totally not true. Like, I'm one of the most disciplined people I know. So where would that crazy idea come from? And when I tell you, God said, hold my cup. After that day, back to back, I kept on seeing clear examples of areas in my life where I lacked boundaries. Like, I could literally be having a conversation with a friend where it's like, there's something I don't want to do, and to make her happy, I say yes, and the Holy Spirit would just whisper in my ear, see, no boundaries. That kept on happening until it got to a point where I was just like, okay, God, finally, like, please forgive me. I've heard you, I accept. I don't have boundaries and I want to change. Now, over the course of this video, I'm going to be sharing some of those stories with you guys. But as you know, like, all of these things into like me and other people, so I may not necessarily say the exact thing or say it exactly how it happened, because I don't want to put people's business out there, but I'll be sharing some of those experiences as we go. And this brings me to my next point, guys. Do not underestimate the importance of having the right people in your corner. Now, I believe God has been trying to tell me I had a boundary issues for the longest of time, but pride and overconfidence, I know too much, would not make me actually like sit down and think about it to know if there's any truth in it. I decided to talk about boundaries today because in our last video on emotional abuse, which I'm going to be linking down below, if you're yet to see that video, like you're on a long thing, like please make sure you watch that video. That's like one of my favorite videos up on my channel because of how like vulnerable and personal I got, the stories that I shared. So that's a video I absolutely do not want you to miss, so please make sure to check it out. So in our last video where we talked about boundaries, I did say one of the ways you could set where we talked about emotional abuse, I said one of the ways you can step out of an abusive situation is by setting healthy boundaries. So I was like, okay, let's just talk about boundaries today. Like, what are these boundaries that I want you to set? Boundaries are basically things you allow or not allow in your life. They are the limits, the rules, that we set for ourselves in relationships. They basically tell the people around us how to treat us, the things we tolerate, how we want to be spoken to, things that disrespect us. If I'm putting up a boundary for myself, it's more for me than the other person. It's me saying this is how I want to be spoken to. It's me saying this is what I will tolerate. It's me saying if you want to be in my life as badly as you claim you think or you want to, this is how you have to act, and it's totally up to you. Like if that is who you are, let's say for example, I have an issue with yelling. I don't like people yelling at me, and I have a personal boundary put up in place for that. And you say, oh, the only way you can get your point across in an argument is by yelling. It's completely fine. Like you can be that person, you can be someone who yells, but you just cannot be that person around me. There are so many boundaries that I've set for myself, especially in terms of like how I relate to the people in my life. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be sharing some boundaries that I think everybody should have, like some general ones that are not specific to me and my situation. Now, I'll be splitting them into two. First of all, I'll share with you guys the things that I no longer tolerate, like the things I don't accept from people as a result of these boundaries that I've set for myself. And I'm also going to be talking about the things that I no longer do, like things I used to do before that I've had to stop doing because, I'm trying to set healthier and better boundaries for myself. The first thing I no longer tolerate or accept from people is physical touch. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with physical touch. Like, don't get me wrong, I like physical touch, but only from the people that I want to be touched by. And trust me, they are not more than 10. And out of that 10, I think I have like 6 nephews and 1 niece. So there's only 3 other people left. One is, of course, my man. So there's 2. There are just 2 other people in this life who I want to have physical contact with. I mean, as even as far as normal handshakes. Like if I'm shaking you, it's only out of courtesy. Like I don't even like to shake people. I know COVID was like a really terrible time for everybody worldwide, but I like the fact that it made people understand that physical touch was not really necessary. When I say I'm setting up a boundary for physical touch, those people that, when they hug you, they'll find a way to bring their hands down to your waist, or they want to walk past you, or they want to walk beside you. They will put their hands on your waist and literally carry you. Move instead of just saying excuse me like a normal person, so you can just move out of the way and give them chance. They will look for every single opportunity to touch you. Those are the people I have an issue with. Now, as we all know, we have a consent problem generally in the world. I don't know why people don't understand that you're not supposed to touch people without their permission, but it's the life we live in. And I just want to let you know that for every time someone touches you inappropriately and you keep quiet, you don't say anything, you don't speak up, just keep the peace, or maybe because you don't want to be seen as problematic or whatever it is, you give the person permission to do it to another person. But every time you don't speak up, you're telling them it's okay to touch people inappropriately, it's okay to touch people without their consent. Now, I remember one time I was traveling to Ughelli, Delta State. That's where I'm from, that's where my family is. I was going home to see my mom. So by the time I got to the park, I was in a very good mood on that day. I guess I wasn't frowning. I was just like gisting with the driver, and since I was the one in the front seat, we kind of like had a little rapport. Now I noticed this driver was a bit touchy. Like he would just say something, he would laugh, he would want to, hit your hand. Or there was a time we stopped to get petrol and people had come down from the car and we're still talking. Like he was just always looking for an excuse to touch me. And for every time he did that, I would actually, it's like reflex. I don't know when I do it, but it just happens. By the time I was dropping off from the car, this man was like, are you married? And I'm not going to lie, I was really surprised. I was wondering why he was asking me that. I have this bad habit of when you ask me personal questions, or when you ask me something like that I don't want to answer, I'll just give you the first answer that comes to mind. So he asked me, he was like, are you married? I said yes. He said, is your husband from Ughelli? I said yes. At this point, I'm like, why are you asking me all these questions? Like, just get to the point. Do you understand? Like, he says, your husband from Ughelli? I said yes. He said, no wonder. I was like, no wonder what? He said, no wonder anytime I dey try touch you, you go dey jump. Say for Robo land, any woman we don't marry, na taboo for another man to touch her more. I was like, what? And immediately he said this like at the time I was dropping off. Like I had gotten to my destination, I was coming down from the car was going to worry. It took me like 20 seconds for my brain to boot. I was like your mind did not tell you that, oh, maybe this girl, she doesn't like people touching her. Maybe I'm smelling. Maybe like it did not occur to you that the reason I don't want to be touched is because I don't like physical touch. Like the only reason why you think a girl like me would stop you from touching me is because I'm married, because I belong to another man. And till today, I regret the fact that I didn't get to put that man in his place. Like I was too stunned. So please and please, if you're not one of the 10 people that I mentioned, like keep your physical touch to handshakes. Like don't touch me. Like I'm not even going to be nice about it but at this point it's even reflex. I don't know when I like don't touch me. There was a time where I would smile when you're touching me, just because I don't want you to be upset. But now, like, I would literally step back and let you know that okay, I'm not comfortable with being touched by random people. The second boundary, which I'm sure some of you would have already guessed that it's definitely going to be in this video, is yelling in arguments when I'm not deaf, when my ears are working perfectly, because you're trying to get your point across. You will not be shouting at me. The minute you start screaming when you're talking to me, you might as well just continue having that conversation with yourself, because I promise you, it's not me you're talking to. Like the minute you start screaming, forget it. And then the one that is even worse than yelling in arguments is name calling. If you're in my life, maybe like or should I say if I'm in your life and you're tired of me, you're like, this girl, I don't want her anymore, like she does too much, and you've been trying to push me away and I'm not responding to like I'm not picking up the hints that you don't want me in your life anymore, just call me names, insult me, tell me I'm mad. I promise you that's like the last time you would ever hear from me. Like I'm not even joking. I mean, I've tolerated this behavior from people before in the past, but right now, like, don't insult me. Like, do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say, but do not insult me. Screaming has been so normalized in our culture that it's like, if you're someone who doesn't shout, they look at you like you're not normal, or like you're a pushover, or you don't know how to put people in their place. But if you're like me, I don't like screaming, or like I don't like quarreling, I don't like shouting, anything that will make me act out of place in public. I honestly don't like it. So if we're even having an issue, instead of me to stand and shout at you and insult you, I would really rather just walk away. And most times people would think that you're a mumu, or you don't know how to stand up for yourself, get mouth. But I just want to tell you that losing control is easy. It's easy to shout and scream and insult people and, and do all of those things. But like being calm in the face of disrespect, when you know that you have every right to scatter everywhere and you choose to be the bigger person, you choose to be the person who maintains the peace, that is like real strength. And just don't stop doing that, okay? Like, for every time that I've yelled or gotten into a shouting contest with someone, I always regret it, because first of all, I'll end up having this really severe headache, and I'll be like, at the end of the day, it's like, was this argument worth it? Is it worth this headache you're having? And secondly, I just don't like how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like this person or this little thing has like a huge form of control over me, and I just don't like that feeling. So I try as much as possible to not get into arguments where I'm shouting or I'm screaming at someone. But let me tell you, 9 out of 10 times when I do end up screaming at someone, I can 100% guarantee you that they deserve it, because it's something that I don't really like to do. Like, it's not a behavior that I like. So like, why are you making me do that? Like, that's not cute. Next is, I will treat you exactly how you treat me. If you make me feel like I'm important to you, I would make you feel like you're important to me. And if you make me feel like, I don't mean nothing to you, trust me, darling, I am going to be returning that same energy. Especially in terms of texting people and all of those things. If I text you and it takes you 20 hours to respond, I'm going to double that and respond back to you in 2 days. It's one of two things. If I love you a lot, I'll call you out on it and be like, okay, this thing you're doing, I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. And if you choose to continue, that's completely fine. I'm just going to return the energy. When I say I'll treat you how you treat me, I remember one of the ways the Holy Spirit showed me I had a boundary problem. So I had let's say a rule that I had set for myself. I'm going to use money because I don't want to use the exact example or say the exact thing that happened. I have a personal rule for myself myself. Yeah, it's like if I only have 10k in my account, I don't give anybody money. Like, I'm not dashing you, I'm not lending you any money. So now a friend of mine was in urgent need of cash. I was like, oh, I really need money, I don't have anything. And then I give this person 5k from the money. Now this example I'm giving is not about money. Like, I'm just using money so you get where I'm coming from when I say I'll treat you how you treat me. So like, this person was like, oh, I need money, and then I remove 5k out of that my 10k, even though I know that this is a rule that I've set for myself. I absolutely should not do this thing. And then let's say the next day I meet up with this person, and this person tells me, me, if I have like just 100k in my account, I can't even give anybody 5k. Like, no matter who you are, even if you're my father, even if you're my mother, I'm not going to remove a dime from that money. That was exactly what happened to me. Like, I really wish I could say the story exactly how it happened, but I had that experience, and the Holy Spirit just whispered in my ear. I was like, see, no boundaries. Like, this person is literally telling you that this sacrifice you did for them is too big, and they would not do the same thing for you. And look at you just going out of your way because they're your friend, or you just want them to be happy, or that kind of thing. I think because I'm filming while doing this video, I'm missing some steps in my makeup. Like, I literally don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just like, God, please let this makeup turn out nice. Still on the issue of things we've accepted in this country that I refuse to be a part of is lateness. Now, lateness has been associated with African culture, but I beg to differ. If we have an appointment, we have a date, whatever it is, and you are going to be late, I need you to respect me and my time enough to let me know in advance. Do you understand? Like, I'm not going to come here and sit and lie and say, oh, I've never been late, or I don't keep people waiting. I do, but if it's going to happen, like, just respect me enough, love me enough to tell me, oh, Debbie, I'm going to be late. Even if you want to lie and tell me like your cat had an accident and so that's why you're going to be late, it's completely fine. But please and please let me know. And also, like, if you initiate a date with me, let's say we're supposed to meet up or something, you initiated the date, you have to reach out to me before that day to confirm that we are still on for that date. Like, I have other things to do with my time. Even if I have nothing to do with my time, I would rather just, sit at home, be on my phone, watch Netflix, scroll from one social media app to the other. So if you're initiating a date, please check in. Just let me know that, okay, you're serious about us meeting. And most importantly, like I said, if you're running late, love and respect me enough to tell me, oh, Debbie, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. I'm going to be an hour late. Just don't keep me waiting like that. Like, that's not cute, and I'm not going to accept it, okay? Of all my boundaries, this is like one of my favorite ones. Help me tell Debbie to come. I'm not going. Oh, Debbie, the event is tomorrow. I completely forgot to inform you earlier. Congratulations, but I'm not going. You can come if you want. I am absolutely not going. I no longer attend events or go to places where I don't feel like I'm 100% welcome or 100% invited. It's totally okay if you forgot, you're overwhelmed with preparations and so you forgot to reach out to me, you forgot to tell me on time, whatever it is, it's fine, like, but I'm still not going to come. Maybe the next one you'd remember to invite me on time. But if I'm not made to feel 100% welcome in an event, like, I'm just going to sit my ass at home. So now let's talk about the things I used to do that I no longer do. Number one is oversharing. Now, people are going to ask you personal questions about your life, not necessarily because they love you, not because they care, not because they give a what happens to you, but only because they are nosy. I'm being careful because like this powder palette is in shambles. Like, I don't even know why everything keeps breaking up, but I just need to like do my face contour. So people would ask you personal questions about your personal life. It's not because they love you. It's not because they really care. They just want gist. They just want to know what is happening in your life. And you have to learn to put them in their place. Like I told you, when people ask me like really personal questions, I reply with whatever comes to mind. Like anything that just, the first thing that comes to my mind, that's what I'm going to tell you. Although it's not good to lie, but like there are other polite ways you can just let people know that, oh, this is really personal information. Like you can't be asking me this. Like imagine three different people coming to ask you something that is really personal, and then you give them three different versions of the story, and then they meet up to discuss or to like judge your matter. It's like everybody has a different version of what happened. Like that would be so hilarious. But lying is not good, guys. So don't lie. Don't be like me. Don't lie. Don't say whatever comes to mind. Just in a very calm and polite way, just let them know that that question is really personal and you'd rather not talk about things like that. Last but not the least is going to be over explaining. Now, I was such a people pleaser that even when I tell you no, that is on the very few occasions that I say no to you, I want you to understand why I'm saying no to you. I don't want you to be angry at me. I don't want you to be mad at me. I still want to be your favorite person. So it's like, for on the few occasions where I say no, I spend a large part of my energy explaining why I'm saying no instead of just like sticking to my decision. And at the end of the day, I end up changing my mind. Now, for everybody who's going to ask you why you don't want to, why you choose to do or not do anything, they're looking for loopholes to convince you to convince you to do that thing. And for every time you over explain, you fall for that trap. You don't have to over explain yourself. Not everybody needs to know why. Sometimes just say, oh no, I don't want to go to that party. Why? I don't feel like it. You don't have to start explaining. Like when you over explain to people, you just give them an opportunity to like convince you to change your mind. My no is more than enough. You guys, I'm running late, so I have to go. But let me tell you, the only people who will be upset at you for setting boundaries are people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm so sorry I couldn't conclude this video the way I wanted. I'm running late, makeup done, outfit check. I think I look good. Let me know in the comments. But thanks for watching. Bye.